Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Que quiero sentir tus labios besándome otra vez suavemente. Bésame. Que quiero sentir tus labios besándome otra vez suave. Bésame, bésame, suave. Bésame otra vez. Suave. Yo quiero sentir tus labios suave. Besándome otra vez. Suave. Besa, besa. Suave. Un poquito. Suave. Besa, 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 besa. Bésame por aquí.
What's up, folks? That's some Monday morning music right there. Suavemente. That's old as shit, too. And it's still that good? It's timeless. One hit wonder. I don't know. I never heard no other songs. Oh, I did. It was terrible. From Elvis Crespo. But that song is a classic. You play that at a wedding, forget it. Forget it. Ooh, there's a lot of snow up here. There's not a lot, but it's more than there is down there. Oh, I see what they're talking about. All right. Let's see. What we got to talk about? Oh. Well, I can't talk about that right now. Try that. So this weekend, Did I tell you about the chocolate? I don't know if I told you about the chocolate. Let me tell you about the chocolate. I go to Sprouts to get some broth, and I see a big bin full of dark chocolate, 85%. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the paleo diet at all. You don't even have to be familiar with it. But in the paleo sphere, the unwritten rule is that you can eat dark chocolate if it's 80 or above. That's the unwritten rule. That's when they allow. They're like, oh, it's paleo, whatever. And the whole time that I was, from the beginning, I said, fuck that. I'm eating 70%. And I would eat 70% dark chocolate. Trader Joe's has a 70% dark chocolate with almonds, and it's good. It's awesome. Love it. I could never really get into that dark shit, that 80 plus percent. So eventually I got tired of dark chocolate. I didn't eat it. I think it's because I started eating regular sweets, and no longer was appealing. It didn't taste good anymore. So I go to Sprouts and I see 85%. Now, this was a couple weeks ago, so by this time my 30 days had been up. I had been at least 30 days without any sugar. So I'm like, let me try it. Let me try this dark chocolate. So I got a couple scoops of it, put it in this bulk, right? Bought it, and ate a piece when I got out to the van, and it was delicious. It was so good. It's like the best chocolate I've ever had, and it just has. The reason for that had to be because I did not. I went so long without eating any sugar. So I kept it in my cooler. I would scoop a little almond butter with it. It wasn't bad. Ooh, it's windy. It wasn't bad. It was good. And I would eat a couple pieces. And I'm like, ooh, let me eat one more piece, and put it away in the cooler. And the next day I'm like, oh, I have dark chocolate. Scoop some more almond butter, eat a couple more pieces. Then I ran out of it, and I'm like, ooh, I think I better get some more. So I got another bar, dark chocolate one night, and broke a couple pieces off, or ate half of it, put it away, put it under here. Dug that out, next day, ate it. And then ran out of that. I think I bought another bar, and then the other day I found myself at Natural Grocers, and I found some 88% dark chocolate. I'm like, oh, this is not 85, this is 88. This is even better for me. This is healthy chocolate. I can eat this. So I bought 2 bars of it. And I think I probably must have ate a whole bar of it that night. And I was on my way to the coffee shop to write. I'm sitting in the coffee shop and I'm eating this chocolate. And I find myself like, oh, it's one more piece. I can't put it. And I find myself not being able to put it down. Why are those lights on? I found myself not being able to stop. And then, what's going on here? And then I realized that I can bite down on that chocolate and then hear a crunch. And I can hear a crunch. And I know that crunch is granules of sugar. My palate, or I don't know, I have not eaten sugar in so long that I can hear it and feel it when I chew down, when I bite down on it in these chocolate bars. So I was like, what does 88% cacao mean? And how does that relate to the amount of sugar that are in these things? So on this bar, I flipped it over, I looked at it, and it had like 17 grams of carbs per half or something like that. It was like ridiculous. I'm like, I just ate a whole bar of this. I ate more carbs just now than I have in a month probably. Like, this is not something I should be eating. And I knew right then and there that I couldn't eat this anymore. I couldn't eat dark chocolate. Isn't something I can eat, because I could feel myself wanting to eat more and more and more of it. No matter how little sugar or how much percentage of it is cacao, I could not stop. I could see myself just going and going, and then that leading, right? So I'm eating this little bit of sugar, and that's just stirring the pot, creating more cravings, and eventually I will not be able to resist the food that is on my abstaining list, right? The food that I want to abstain from will be harder to abstain. It's harder to resist if I allow this little bit of sugar to come in via the hidden, good for you chocolate bars. So that's the sugar. That's the sugar thing. I didn't binge. I still feel I'm square with my whole recovery thing. I didn't overdo it, but I caught myself on the verge of doing it, and I eliminated what was going to, what could send me down the path, It's fucked up, it's weird. Saturday night, had a little bit of a social gathering. It was a date. We just went for, I always say, well, we got to go get barbecue, because that's really the only low carb thing, really. Go get barbecue, eat some ribs. But I'm like, you know what? That place right there, that was like my last beer I ever had was at this, not ever. The last beer I had was at this place. I got the nachos, steak nachos, had a beer, had a couple beers that night. Looks pretty good. And she was like, oh, that sounds good. I go, do you want to do that? She goes, yeah. I'm like, okay. And this was going to be me officially breaking my paleo streak. It's 45 days or whatever it was. And I knew what not to eat. So if I order the nachos, they actually come individual individually topped, which is pretty cool, right? So you may get like 12 chips. Each chip has a little bit of beans and cheese and steak and stuff. So you're not getting this massive plate of just pile of food. So I knew that, and I knew that I would have a beer because it would go good. It would taste. It would, I get a Negro Modelo and have some limes. That would be good. And I knew that. See, here's the trigger, right? The trigger would be the chips. The chips and salsa, the free chips and salsa that they bring out. That would be the trigger. That would be that hyper palatable food that I would find myself eating and eating and eating and eating, even though I didn't want it, asking for another basket. So, what is on my abstaining list? Sweets, pastries, sugar, and hyper palatable foods that I can eat and not don't have control over. And though, for example, that is an example of that is tortilla chip or chips and salsa. Like I just, you know that if you ever go to like a holiday party and you just keep eating this stuff, you're like, oh, I'm so full, I just can't stop eating it. That's a hyper palatable food. That's a food that you cannot resist because of things like the way how crunchy it is, or how salty it is, or how sweet it is, or you just keep stuffing it in your face. That's what's on my list. Foods that, if it's not going to be sweets, it's going to be a super hyper palatable food, like tortilla chips, like popcorn. And I love movie popcorn, but I really think that possibly an alternate to sit down and enjoy a movie may be to order a small popcorn instead of a large. I could probably do that. But it's tough. This is tough trying to recover, trying to go through this, and I know what I can't eat. It's like I can't eat desserts, right? Sweets, pastries. That's me falling off the wagon. Me having a beer and eating some steak nachos is not. I know that's a weird line to draw, but that's the line we have to draw. When your addiction is food, it is a fine line, but we can't 100% abstain from food. So if you're addicted to heroin, like, oh, I can't have heroin. That's easy. Why can't my addiction be something easy like that? So anyways, that's it. I was going to talk about something else, but I spent the whole time talking about food addiction. That's it, folks. Monday morning, time to go to work, time to put the game face on. Trying to see what the hell happened while I was gone this weekend. That's it. You got any food addiction questions or anything you want me to dig into, look into? Go ahead and send them my way. I'll be more than happy to help and answer any questions that I can. I'm not an expert, but I'm a talker, so I'll be more than happy to talk about something. All right, folks. That's it. Let's go.